We have team coverage this morning, keeping track of this freezing cold weather across North Texas. We have Dennis Brown and Brittany Rainey keeping a close eye on the forecast. Madison watching the roads for you, and we'll have a live look at the weather conditions across North Texas all morning long. But we start with meteorologist Dennis Brown standing by with your first alert forecast. Dennis, where do we stand now, and where are we headed from here?
Yeah, we have a winter weather advisory until noon today. That includes the Metroplex. We still have some wintry weather across the area, including bands of snowfall, also some freezing rain and drizzle that we've been tracking with first alert radar. And how about the snow that we've seen? More snow than freezing rain in most of the Metroplex today. How about more than an inch of snow at DFW Airport so far? And we'll likely have a little bit more snow as we move through this morning. A look at first alert radar as we zoom into a few spots here. You'll notice that we have these bands of snow that are moving in. It's lake effect snow. The wind, yeah, it's rolling over some relatively warmer lakes there. And so we've got some bands that have developed in portions of Tarrant County, also for western parts of Dallas County. Check out Irving here toward even Duncanville. We might see just a few, how about snow showers there, coating of some of that snow on some grassy elevated surfaces, maybe on some pavement. And that's crossing over the 20 and 30 corridors as well. Also seeing a few bands of snow toward Midlothian, Ellis County here, toward Johnson County near Keene. And we're seeing a few bands here right in the western parts of even Tarrant County near Benbrook and near Fort Worth. We've seen some blowing snow from some of our TechStop cameras. Also seeing some returns here from first alert radar toward Sulphur Springs, Winsboro, even Mineola seeing a little bit of light snow. More freezing rain, though, likely farther to the south and east that we've been tracking. And yeah, we've escaped most of the ice, but there will be some problem for some of our southeastern communities as we go through this morning. A look at first alert futurecast will show you that for the next couple of hours, we will see at least an opportunity for a little snow toward the Metroplex and maybe a little bit more ice toward the south and east. We need to be careful out there. Some slick spots, temperatures below freezing. Then as we head toward about 11 o'clock noon, most of the precip will likely wrap up, but we're going to likely have, yes, that's still slick spots out there with temperatures below freezing. So we've got this sweet spot here in the Metroplex, up to an inch of snow, especially in Tarrant and Dallas counties, maybe even Denton County. More of a dusting around the Metroplex, and we'll have about 1/10 of an inch of ice and sleet there toward the south and east. But Brittany, it is very cold out there, and our temperatures won't be going much above freezing for a while.
That's exactly right. That's why we have a hard freeze warning in place for areas north of I-20. This does include Tarrant and Dallas counties. And we get these hard freeze warnings when those temperatures drop below 10 degrees. And that's what we're seeing throughout the area, that we have temperatures in the single digits like Fort Worth, 8 degrees, Bowie, Gainesville, Sherman, around 8 to 9 degrees. And that's bad enough, but we also have to factor in this breezy northerly wind. It's still about 10 to 15 miles an hour. When you have the Arctic air in place, it really drops those wind chills. So we are seeing below zero wind chills all the way down to Hillsborough. It feels like 1 below. Fort Worth feeling like 7 below. We're also feeling close to 7 to 8 below zero into Gainesville, Sherman, Bonham, Greenville feeling like 6 below right now. So it's not surprising that we have that wind chill advisory in place for these areas where we're already seeing that dangerous cold feels like temperatures. As we head into tonight, we're getting another push of that Arctic air. Winds are going to pick up. That cold air is expanding even further south, so the wind chill advisory will expand south of I-20 as we get into tonight into Tuesday morning. So here's how we're going to feel today. Only like the low teens at the warmest. Our air temperature, that's going to stay in the 20s. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to start off with those wind chills below zero once again. Winds will start to subside as we get into the afternoon. So notice our wind chills are getting a little bit closer to the actual air temperature, back into the upper teens, but we're still not going to see the air temperature getting above freezing. So 25 this afternoon, 29 tomorrow. We are back down into the teens as we head into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Luckily, though, by Wednesday afternoon, we're tracking those mid-40s. We're going to see that sunshine back in the area. That's going to help melt any of that snow that we're seeing throughout the region. But a heads up, anything that we do see, if it melts just a little bit with that afternoon sunshine today, it will refreeze overnight. And then the same story for Tuesday night. So Madison, they'll still need to watch for slick spots over the next couple days.
Yeah, for sure. Because this, like you said, we're not getting above freezing for a while. So right now, I want to give you a look out a couple of different windows. So first of all, let's start out on I-20 right near 360. So this is kind of what most of the Metroplex is dealing with. What you're going to see on the major highways is that there's going to be some lanes with some pretty thick tire treads for you to be able to follow. That's not where the biggest concern is going to be this morning. The concern is going to be on elevated surfaces. So even though this may not look great, it's actually pretty smooth driving in this area. So if you see big, heavy tire treads, that's probably a good sign for your commute. But don't just put that in the back of your pocket, because you could still run into some slick spots, especially on those elevated surfaces. So taking a wide view of DFW, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing those snowy areas like Dominus and Brittany were saying, but I'm also keeping a very close eye on a few certain overpasses. That would be the interchange of 121 and 635. The interchange of 360 and 183, I-20 at Spur 408, and 35W at I-20. Those have been some of the biggest problem spots this morning. Now, I want to compare some of the road conditions in Tarrant County. So let's start out in Benbrook. This is the view currently of I-20 at 377 through the Benbrook area. And you can see there, too, even on West Loop 820 at I-20, you've got some pretty thick tire treads to be able to drive in. Over on the Grand Prairie side, this is that area of 360 that goes over the Trinity that I'm keeping a close eye on. That's where we could see some of that snow turn into ice potentially if it does kind of thaw out, because that is an elevated surface that goes over that Trinity River portion. Fort Worth, the overpasses of 35W and I-20, certainly a spot where we've seen a couple of crashes already this morning. And then 183 through Euless, certainly seeing some of that heavier snowfall due to that lake effect snow that Brittany and Dominus were talking about. So, Keith, certainly a morning where you want to use extra caution, but definitely not a widespread ice event like we were fearful of.
And that is something that is good to note, Madison, but people definitely don't want to get a false sense of overconfidence, as you keep reminding them.